Okay, in this video, I'm going to go over some of the beginning of Unit 6, which is focusing on comparison essay. So a comparison essay is a very, very common form of writing. We often refer to it as comparison, but it's possible that when you compare something, you identify similarities, or you identify only differences or contrasts, or you might find both, comparisons and contrasts. Okay, so don't get too worried about whether you should discuss only similarities or only contrasts. Think about this in real life. In real life, we compare things and we find differences and we find similarities. Okay, so for example, we could look at comparing watching movies at a theater or watching movies at home, hybrid versus conventional cars, breakfast dishes in Japan and China. Those are all things that we can compare. Now, look at all of the topics in Activity 1. Stop the video and read these 6 possible topics and put a check mark in front of the topics that seem like they would be good for a comparison essay. So turn your video off now and read. Okay, now that you have reviewed the 6 topics, let's see which ones would make a good comparison essay. Why people should be a vegetarian? No, we're not really comparing. Unless, for example, you want to compare the health of people who are vegetarians versus people who are not vegetarians. But as it stands now, number 1 is not, doesn't look like a comparison topic. But number 2 does, laptop and desktop computers. Number 4, growing up as an only child or growing up with siblings. And number 5, male and female bosses. So number 2, 4, and 5 would make a good comparison essay. Now there's something a little bit different about the organization of a comparison essay. There are 2 common ways to do it, and one is called a block method and one is called point by point. So if you think about a block method, that means first you're going to compare the first item, and then you're going to compare the second item. For example, laptop and desktop computers. First, in a nice long body paragraph, I'm going to say everything, my 3 points of comparison about laptop computers. And then in my second body paragraph, I'm going to take my 3 points and I'm going to say everything I can think about for those 3 points for desktop computers. So I separate the topic by block, each topic. Topic 1, topic 2. So let's look at page 135. This is what they've done. They are comparing London, these snapshots, these photos of London in 1900, and then in 2000, 100 years later, okay? So we have an introduction. We always have a hook, connecting information, background information, and then a thesis statement. So our second body paragraph, we're going to talk only about London in 1900. And the first point of comparison, population. Second point of comparison, technology, and third is transportation. So we can see there are fewer people in 1900. We could see that the technology is different. Maybe they have gas lights there. And then the transportation is different. So the second body paragraph is talking only about London in 1900. And then the third body paragraph is going to talk about London in 2000. And the 3 points of comparison are exactly the same: population, technology, transportation. And then we have a conclusion. So this is one way that you can organize an essay. You focus first on topic 1, and then you focus on topic 2. Now this has 4 paragraphs, but each of these 2 body paragraphs will be very long because you are talking about 3 different things. So this is called the block method. The point-by-point method, now what it does, the introduction will be the same, the conclusion will be the same, but here I have 3 body paragraphs, and in my first body paragraph, I'm going to talk about point 1, which is population. I'm comparing the population in 1900 versus 2000. So my second paragraph is only about population. And first I talk about London in 1900, and then I talk about London in 2000. My third paragraph, or my second body paragraph, I'm going to talk about technology only. And I'm going to do organization the same way. London in 1900, London in 2000. And then my third body paragraph, which is going to be paragraph 4 of the essay, I talk only about transportation. Transportation in London in 1900, transportation in London in 2000. So while this has 5 paragraphs, the length and the number of words will be very similar because I'm still talking about the same information, I just have a different way to organize it, okay? So at the top of page 137, there's just another example of another example. You see side by side, the block method and the point-by-point method. Only here they actually go into a little bit more detail so you could see what kind of supporting information that you might include. So I suggest you turn off this video now and you review this information again, because how you organize an essay is very important. So when you're comparing something, you have 2 different options for organizing your information: block method and point by point.